Hello and welcome to another video. This one is a general discussion on my thoughts on Remnant From The Ashes and a little bit of background on the channel. Firstly, a quick shout out to my brother at Nexus 7 for the tracks you can hear in the video. I've left these details in the description below if you're interested in his music and want to hear more. Also, if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, subscribe and hit that notification bell for future updates. It will really help this channel to grow. I love gaming and it is my primary form of escapism from the normal stresses of life. I'm sure it's a very similar story for the majority of you. I also love editing, albeit for fun. My wife kept on asking me why it was that I kept on recording my game capture if I wasn't really going to do anything with it. So in the early hours of the morning, after having family over and drinking far too much gin, I created the channel and uploaded my first video. I'm a lover of shooters, Soulspawn-like games and RPGs. My wife and I spent almost 13 years playing World of Warcraft, where we spent a lot of time raiding, primarily from the Wrath of the Lich King expansion. So we're no strangers to sinking an untold amount of hours into games. As you've undoubtedly noticed by my uploads, I'm a huge Remnant From The Ashes fan. The majority of my videos have been me tinkering around with builds and working back through the areas in search of things that I may have missed and to level my traits to get me in a good position for hard mode. I've sunk a little over 77 hours into Remnant by the making of this video and can't recommend it enough if you're looking for a game to scratch that Soulspawn itch. It's free on the Xbox Game Pass and it released at £30.99 in the UK. It's a bargain for what I've gotten out of it so far and will continue to get out of it, as the developers have released a roadmap with what you can expect moving forward. Unlike a lot of the rest of the AAA games industry, there is no manipulative monetization in Remnant. You buy the game and they don't spend every waking minute trying to cram microtransactions down your throat. The Metacritic scores across PC, PS4 and Xbox speaks for itself. After a session of Destiny 2 with the lads, I can't help but find myself back on Remnant, grinding for those traits, armour, guns or trinkets that I may have missed. I have played some multiplayer on the console with my brothers. The ramp up in difficulty is amazing but so much fun. Unfortunately, I don't have a capture card, so I don't have any footage to show you. Last week was still providing first for me in the game, having encountered bosses that I'd not yet discovered like Singe and Brabus. I managed to finally tear myself away from the loot hunt and have a stab at the final boss on normal, as you can see in the clip. It took me a couple of attempts to wrap my head around the mechanics, but I got there in the end. If you're a fan of this genre, Remnant could well suck you in too. In the whole time that I played the game, I can hand on heart say that I've only encountered one bug personally. It was bad enough however to totally allow you to bypass the mechanics of the boss. At launch and on the Gorefist encounter, if you tried to jump out of the windows on the upper walkways to avoid attacks, he would knock you flying and onto the pipes above the arena and out of his reach. He would then just stand there and become a stationary target while you burned him down. As I guess the game classed you as out of bounds, the exploding ads would stop spawning and wouldn't have been able to reach you anyway. This would allow you to totally face roll the boss. Thankfully, this only happened twice and it appears to have been patched out really quickly. My only minor gripe with the game is that the majority of boss encounters can be summed up by avoid boss mechanics, dispatch ads and burn down the boss. While it's easy to compare Remnant to the Soulspawn games, it does lack some of the depth of the boss fights you would encounter on those titles. I am aware that multiplayer throws in a few extra mechanics like watching out for additional random rock clouds on the Shroud fight, and I have no doubt that the harder difficulties will provide their own unique challenges and I look forward to facing them. In saying that, encounters like Ixalis were far deeper than many of the other encounters in the game and a real test of what you learned up to that point, and it did feel really good and I was totally pumped after finally taking him down. As I said, it is only a minor gripe, as I always find myself coming back to the game for more. On the opposite end of the spectrum however, I do love how the majority of bosses will reward you with different loot dependent on how you take them down. A good example of this is the aforementioned Singe encounter that you can see in the clip. Kill him by simply whittling down his HP bar and his death will reward you with the Blazing Heart. You can then hand that into the ever happy-go-lucky McCabe for the primary weapon, the Spitfire, which is a flamethrower. Alternatively, destroy Singer's tail, then defeat him, and you'll be rewarded with the dragon links. When you hand this in, it will give you Smolder. This is a single-handed melee weapon with a fire alignment which afflicts the target with fire damage over time. These would have been really handy for my ranged elemental build, but that's the beauty of this game, the potential to find something new that will really shake up your builds. In addition, unlike the Soulsborne games, armour in Remnant is much more impactful. In Souls, when you get armour, the only real bonuses they possess are greater values in armour and protection from different status effects. With Remnant, you get all of that, and you can also build around the perks that they provide. Combat is fluid and responsive, with the moment-to-moment gameplay feeling satisfying. The checkpoints are close enough that you don't have to feel like you need to clear your day schedule if you want to jump in and farm or hunt some new bosses or encounters. Despite my little gripe about boss encounters earlier, they are always really tense and punishing, but fair. Crafting materials are easy enough to come by as to not limit the experimentation with gear. This includes Simulacrum, the item needed to apply the final upgrade on any armour or weapon piece. I have found one on every zone that I've gone through on adventure mode lately. If you like to mess around with builds, the amount of variety available will have you busy for a good while. There is a build to suit every playstyle within the brackets of support, ranged DPS or melee. As I mentioned before, I've sunk around 77 hours into this game before I finally decided to go back and defeat the last boss on normal that you saw in the clip. I was quite content in just mooching around in adventure mode and grinding items and traits. I didn't feel any pressure to go and complete the main game until I felt ready, which is a testament in itself. You can play this game however you want to play it. I'm a big fan of the Darksiders series. The same developer created Remnant From The Ashes, so for me this is another home run for Gunfire Games. For the price on PC, you can't go wrong if you're looking to dive into another Souls-like game. On the PS4, Remnant is currently marked down by 30%, from £32.99 to £23.09. If you're an Xbox owner, there's no reason not to give this game a go, as it's for free on the Xbox Game Pass. The pricing is all based on UK prices, and I've left links to the descriptions of all the websites I've used in this video below. I hope you've enjoyed the video, and until next week, thanks for watching.